Hi, Julie Jones from SSB Performance Smarter, Stronger, Better Mindset Training here with this week's Mindset Made Simple Tip of the Week. And this week we're talking about telling ourselves we can't do stuff, our limiting thoughts or our limiting beliefs. And this week I got to spend some time with my son on his skateboard or his penny board. I need to make sure I get that right and use the right vernacular because, moms don't know much. But we were at the park a couple times this week, in fact, numerous times, and we'll be going again today at some point to ride his skateboard, which he got a couple years ago for Christmas from my dad, and he hasn't used it up to this point, mainly out of fear, in my opinion. But he's got a helmet, he's got wrist guards, he has the penny board, and he's gotten bigger. So now he has seen guys do it, so he thinks it's cool, and here we are. We're off, and we're running with this thing. I wasn't allowed to have a skateboard. My mom said absolutely not. Of course, now my dad buys one. What you don't do for your kids, you do for your grandkids. But back when we had them, there was no helmet, there was no wrist guards. I mean, baseball guys didn't even wear helmets hardly. They wore a helmet with no ear flaps. The catcher didn't wear a helmet. In fact, I didn't wear a helmet when I caught in college. So things have changed, but some things have not changed. What has not changed is our propensity to tell ourselves what's going to happen that's bad before it ever happens. So as we're out on the skateboard and I'm walking around and he's trying new things and going down little slopes, I say, hey, buddy, why don't you go down that way? You'll pick up some speed and be able to get going really well. And he's like, I'll fall, but I'm going to fall. I don't know how many times through our time this past week he said, but Mom, I'm going to fall. And I said, who's to say you're going to fall? You haven't fallen yet. And when you do fall, is it going to be that bad? You've got wrist guards on, you've got a helmet. One day you had on pants, so you're not going to get a scraped up knee. What is the worst thing that can happen? Now, obviously, as a mom, I'm thinking of all the bad things that can happen. Well, we're protected as much as we can be. I have a really nice knack of finding the problem. Maybe that's because as coaches and leaders, we're always looking to improve. So that implies that there's a problem, but it's by nature that we do this. We are born to find problems and we talk to ourselves about them constantly. So how does this affect us? It limits us. It makes us tight. So as he starts to tell himself that he's going to fall, what do you think happens? He tightens up muscles that don't need to be tight. He doesn't flow. He's looking for all the problems instead of looking ahead of himself and picturing himself being successful. It changes the way our brain works. It makes us sort of lose control of being in the moment. We start to look ahead or we look behind. And we can't do anything about what just happened. We really can't do anything about what's going to happen if we don't take care of what's happening right now. So what do we do about this? We all do it. It makes it really hard to get better if we're constantly telling ourselves what we don't want to do. Don't strike out. Don't throw it down the middle. Don't miss the shot. Don't fall. Don't whatever. Constant chatter in our head that starts with don't. What can we do? Well, we can go all the way back to Socrates, right? Ancient philosopher Socrates. So hundreds and hundreds of years ago, he had a three-pronged test that he used. And the questions we can ask ourselves are these. Is this true? Is it useful? And is it good? How is this going to help me? Is it true? Am I going to fall for sure? No. Well, you got about a 50-50 chance, I guess. Right? But you have a 50-50 chance. If you don't try it at all, you're not going to ever know. Right? If you don't swing the bat, you will never get a hit. That's one thing I do know. You might miss, but if you don't swing it, you're eventually going to strike out. There's no question about it. Well, you might walk, but you're probably going to strike out. Is it useful? Is my thought helping me? Is the thought of the fact that I'm going to fall helping me get down the little slope, or is it helping me become a better skateboarder? Is it helping me become a better anything? And is it good? Right? Is this good for the finished product? I mean, is what I'm thinking good for my body? Is it good for my performance? Is it helpful in any way, shape, or form? If we can ask 3 questions of ourselves in that moment and dispute, there's other ways to dispute. We'll get into those other times. Martin Seligman from the University of Pennsylvania has a disputation factor that he uses with an A, B, C, D, E. But this is a really simple test, a 3-pronged test. Is it good? Is it useful? Is it true? Is it true? Is it useful? Is it good? Put them however you want. But the question is, are my thoughts helping me be better? And if they're not, we can replace them. We can replace these thoughts with positive thoughts. We can quickly visualize what we want to happen. As my former assistant used to say all the time, you don't go to McDonald's and say, I don't want, I don't want, I don't want. I always change it to Chipotle, because eventually the guy behind the counter is going to give you crap. And that's what your brain gives you when you tell it what you don't want. I don't want to throw the ball down the middle. Well, there it goes, right down the middle. And guess what happens after that? It usually goes way out that way. But the bottom line is that we do have control on how we react to our thoughts. We may not control our thoughts, but we can control what we do with them. So if it comes, if I say to myself, or my son says, I'm going to fall, we can quickly ask ourselves, is that true? Is it useful? Is it good? And if it's not, we move on to something else. If nothing else, we have changed our train of thought, and we have gotten away from that non-productive talk that goes on in our head all day long. So a simple 3-pronged test from a philosopher from hundreds and hundreds of years ago can help us today get over all the chatter that holds us back. So as you go into the week, I hope you'll think about what's to come, and you'll take a little different view of all the challenges that you face. And instead of telling yourself what bad can happen, start to look at how you can change those thoughts around into what's true. Use your experience, build your confidence, and ask yourself questions. And I guarantee you'll take a different look at everything that you face. If you'd like to have more information on tips like this, go to ssbperformance.com. Reach out, Julie J at ssbperformance.com. I'd love to work with you or your teams or those that you lead in helping them fix, or not, we're not going to fix everything, but fix their thought process so that they can get better one little bit at a time. Have a great week.